Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Chico Weekly series. This is now episode 6 of the series. We're going to be going over the week of Sunday, February 5th, all the way through Saturday, February 11th, all the way up to the title fight of Makhachev versus Volkanovski, the super fight. And yeah, let's get straight into it. On Sunday, nothing happened that we haven't already talked about in Saturday. The only thing to happen on Sunday was the retirement of Fedor Emelianenko, one of the greatest fighters to ever walk the planet Earth. So it's sad to see him go, but his legend will always live on. That was the only thing to happen Sunday. On Monday, it got announced that Kevin Lee has signed a contract to come back into the UFC. He's not on the roster yet, but he is he already made the negotiations with the UFC. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he's back in the UFC. He went to Eagle FC and now he's coming back, I guess. So we're gonna see him in competitions one day. I don't know if it's soon or later. Don't really know. But that was it for Monday as well. On Tuesday, we got some updated ranks. Men's pound for pound. This is obviously before Saturday. The rankings get updated tomorrow. So we had Sterling move up 1 to 7th, Oliveira move down 1 to 8th. And if we know anything about the rankings, if there's a random little shuffle where one guy moves up, it's because they likely have a fight and the UFC wants to push them just a little bit higher to get just a little bit more hype. So I think Sterling will be fighting Cejudo. That is my prediction. But no updates at flyweight, bantamweight, or featherweight. No updates at lightweight, welterweight, or middleweight, but quite a few updates at light heavyweight when Glover Teixeira, they finally took him off the rankings. He was already off the roster, but they took him off the rankings after he retired. So now Anthony Smith, Nikita Krylov, Johnny Walker, Volkan Ozdemir, Ryan Spann, Paul Craig, Dominic Reyes, Jimmy Crute, Khalil Roundtree Jr., and Dustin Jacoby, they all move up one, as well as Azamat Murzakanov, who enters the rankings now once again. Heavyweight, there was a few changes. Volkov moved up one, and Sergey Spivak moved up 4 after his win against Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis moved down 3 to number 10. The fall off is pretty crazy. Also, the fact that Volkov is above him now is pretty crazy. But it is what it is. Marcin Tybura, his performance, I guess, just wasn't enough because he moved down 1 after his win against Blagoy Ivanov, who's still at number 15, and Chris Dawkins moved down 1. Also, women's pound for pound, top rankings. Rose Namajunas moved up to tie Juliana Pena. I think she should be above Pena. That might just be me, though. But taila Santos moved up 1. That was probably because of her fight that she had. We're going to get into that later. Marina Rodriguez moved down 1, and so did Amanda Lemos. Moved down to number 10. No updates at strawweight. However, taila Santos did tie Manon Fiorot for number 1 contender. And we're going to see how that changes on Tuesday. Women's bantamweight, no updates. And women's featherweight, as always, no updates in the rankings there. We're going to get into the roster. A lot of things happen in the roster for this day. Tuesday, Modestas Bukauskas, Jack Jenkins, Shannon Ross, Anshul Jubli, Toshiomi Kazama, Zhang Young Lee, Rinya Nakamura, and Hyung Sung Park all were added to the UFC roster on Tuesday. A lot of these guys came from the Road to UFC finals. Some of them came from UFC 24 when they were added to the roster there. And no other updates from the roster throughout the whole week. So we're going to get right into, I think that was it for, there were more fights announced for Tuesday. We're going to get into those. Tuesday had some pretty good fights, I do got to say. Let me, scroll up because it's pretty far up. We're only on Monday here. Okay. Oh, yeah. This happened on Monday. My bad. Abubakar Nurmagomedov versus Carlson Harris. UFC Vegas 71, March 11th. That's happening. That got announced Monday. That's my bad. We're back into Tuesday. Brad Tavares, formerly ranked, and Bruno Silva, the guy who fought Alex Pereira and went to a decision with him. It got announced for a UFC event April 22nd. We know nothing else about that other than it's a pretty nicely stacked event, as for right now, because we've only known about its existence for like a week or two. So the card's looking nice so far, and this is definitely a good fight to make. That'll be a fun one. Also, Jarrell Dana versus Brady Highstand was moved a week later to April 22nd. Also, another fight got announced. Na Liang versus Tough Season 30 Flyweight finalist Brogan Walker was announced for UFC San Antonio on March 25th. That'll be an interesting fight as well. That's it for Tuesday. If we look at Wednesday, the UFC Vegas 70 poster got announced for Nikita Krylov versus Ryan Spann. It's a nice looking poster, I do gotta say. I don't know about that. The edges there where they just kind of look like inverted colors. That's a little bit weird, but it's a nice looking poster nonetheless. I'm excited for this fight. Not a super stacked card, but excited for it nonetheless. It's UFC. Damn, I list one away. Oh yeah, it also got announced on Wednesday that what's it called? April 15th. The fight night April 15th, Holloway versus Arnold Allen, will be in Kansas City. So that was announced by the UFC. Don't have it pulled up, but it will be in Kansas City. That's pretty cool. Also, Chris Duncan will be stepping in to fight Omar Morales at UFC 286 on March 18th. Also announced, there were a few more fights announced. Jessica Rose Clark will fight Tainara Lisboa at a UFC event May 13th. That's the first fight announced for May 13th. Also announced was Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Marcos Rogerio de Lima was announced for April 29th. That card is looking to be very nice as well. I'm liking to look at that card as of right now. An even bigger fight that got announced today on that day, was Brandon Royval versus Mateus Nicolau for UFC Kansas City April 15th. If we look where they're ranked right now at flyweight, Nicolau is ranked number 5 and Brandon Royval is ranked number 4. So this is a top 5 fight at flyweight. They better put this on the main card because I know it's going to be good. This was same day. Also, Vinicius Salvador will fight Victor Altamirano at UFC San Antonio March 25th. That's it for Wednesday. On Thursday, it came out, the UFC 286 poster. This guy said it's got to be the worst poster I've ever seen. I think it's a nice looking poster. I don't know. It's kind of weird how like they're kind of drawn, how like the presidents are drawn on the dollar bills, just like dots. But it's a nice looking poster nonetheless. It kind of fits that London theme. But I think, is that their signatures? That's Justin Gaethje's signature. Yeah, they got all their signatures there too. That's pretty cool. Don't know how they're gonna do or like sell those whole signed signatures posters on top of these signatures, but cool nonetheless. That's the poster. Yeah, let's move on to the fights. Oh yeah, this is a pretty cool one for me. Since Benitez had to pull out of his fight with Jim Miller, we talked about this earlier in the video, Alexander Hernandez is stepping in to fight Jim Miller. That's a very fun fight in my opinion. Even though short notice, I think that makes it more interesting in my opinion. So that's a super fun one. It's happening in a few days. UFC Vegas 69, February 18th. That's a good one. That is a good one. Also got a few more fights announced. Let's look. Let's see. All right. Ricky Glenn will fight Christos Giagos UFC event on April 22nd. Also, Phillips had to pull out, so Rafael Asunciao will now fight Davey Grant at UFC Vegas 71, March 11th. Doesn't take much away from the card. It's still a good one. All right. Sam Hughes will fight Jacqueline Amorim at UFC 287, April 8th. So that's pretty interesting. You got announced for a pay-per-view card, not the actual pay-per-view. You will not pay money for that unless you got to pay for ESPN Plus. On Friday, not much happened either, other than the UFC Vegas 69 poster, which did get changed the week after. So I'll not be looking at that today, but I'm pretty sure it's here. Yeah. Marcel has it back when taila Santos was meant to fight. This was the vertical version, poster version. This is like the thumbnail version, what I use for my videos. And another pretty cool fight in my opinion, Clay Guida versus Rafa Garcia, announced for UFC Kansas City on April 15th. Also, what happened, ex-UFC fighter Poliana Mateo announced that she had cancer, so that was pretty sad to hear there. But we move on to Saturday, where it came out. Is it here? Yeah, it's this one. Jens Pulver, man. Jens Pulver. I love this guy on Tough. Him and his team, he had a legendary team. He had a super, super legendary team. That was a legendary season, honestly. It was one of the best seasons of Tough, in my opinion. Had to be top 3 for me. But, yeah, Jens Pulver, he coached Nate Diaz. He coached Manny Gambirian. He coached a lot of really cool guys on that team. He went up against BJ Penn, and BJ Penn had a lot of top guys in his team as well. Jens Pulver dominated at the start, but then Team Penn came back, and bro, I don't even want to talk about it. Go ahead and watch it yourself if you want. But it's been out for like 2 decades now. I can talk about spoilers if I want to. Just go ahead and watch it if you haven't already. But Jens Pulver, he was the first ever UFC lightweight champion. Also, one of 2 UFC lightweight champions to compete in both UFC and Pride. They showed his highlights. He had a very interesting haircut, multiple. Competed in 4 weight classes across a 14-year pro career. Wow. What an accomplishment. Many accomplishments for Jens Pulver. And now he will be inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame along with Jose Aldo for the year of 2023. I think that's pretty cool. Also, a few big fights got announced. Actually, Saturday was a day full of big fights getting announced. Anthony Smith versus Johnny Walker announced for a UFC event on May 13th. It had just come out that same week that there would be fights on that card. And now the main event likely just got announced. So super fun fight there. I'm really excited for this one. If we look at where they're ranked right now at light heavyweight, Anthony Smith is number 5. Johnny Walker is number 7. It's kind of crazy how, just a couple months back, Walker was like number 12, 13. And now he just jumped all the way back up, man. It's really cool to see that. Rooting for him all the way. And the last fight announced for the week of February 5th through February 11th was not even a fight announcement. It was a replacement announcement. Taila Santos pulled out and Jessica Andrade stepped in. Honestly, I was so, it was so weird. I didn't even get no notice that Taila Santos pulled out. It was Marcel that alerted me first. I feel like, I don't know, the UFC should say something, or I don't know. It's like, it was just like weird. It came out of absolutely nowhere. But Jessica Andrade is the replacement, and it's a short notice replacement. And kind of like Hernandez Miller, this is the better fight. Look, number 1 Taila Santos versus number 10 Erin Blanchfield doesn't make a lot of sense. But number 3 Andrade on short notice versus number 10 Blanchfield, there's more stakes, especially with Andrade's last performance at flyweight. And I know she should try to get her back at strawweight. I feel like that's best. But I don't know. I feel like stepping in on short notice Jessica Andrade was definitely the best pick. And I'm glad that this fight is happening. This is going to be a super interesting fight. Can't wait to see how that goes. That's it for week 6. Also, something else that did happen was the super fight. Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski. Islam Makhachev won by unanimous decision. I will probably make a video about this tomorrow, going over who I think won. But yeah, it's likely that tomorrow we see Islam Makhachev becoming pound for pound number 1, when the rankings get updated. And I think that's the best time to make the video of if he deserves that position, that spot or not, if I do think he won that fight or not. Don't say nothing yet. Don't be hating on me yet because I didn't say my opinion yet. I didn't say nothing. But yeah, that's it for week 6 of MMA, of Chico Weekly, of whatever happened during this week. And I'll see you next week for week 7.